So today we're going to read a new Bible story and we're going to work on this paper today. This is a man named Joseph. We're going to work on Joseph today. But we're going to kind of review where we were. So remember, Jacob and Esau were the twin brothers, and they tricked the dad into getting Jacob to be the leader of the family when he died, right? And then he had to go away. We made our stairway to heaven. He came back, and his brother Esau forgave him, right? They made up. He said he was sorry. So now, Jacob, we're going to talk about Jacob, and then we're going to talk about Jacob's children, and especially Jacob's son, Joseph. So, Jacob lived in the land of Canaan. He had 12 sons. So he had 12 children. They were all boys. The oldest son was Reuben. The youngest son was Benjamin. Of all his sons, Jacob, the father, loved the one named Joseph best of all. When Joseph was 17, Jacob made a fancy coat for him, a coat of many colors. His brothers were very jealous. They could not speak a kind word about Joseph or to Joseph. So the dad is Jacob. Jacob has 12 sons, but Jacob is showing that he loves Joseph the most, and he got Joseph a really beautiful coat. Now the brothers, they're getting kind of jealous. They wish that their father loved them as much as he loved Joseph. One night, Joseph had a strange dream. He and his brothers were out in a field tying wheat into bundles. His bundle of wheat stood up. Then the other bundles of wheat stood around it and bowed down to it. He told his brothers about the dream. They laughed at the idea that they would ever bow down to him. So he's dreaming that his wheat is in the middle and all the brothers' wheat is bowing down to his. And the brothers laughed. They said, "We're never going to bow down to you." Then Joseph had another dream. "Listen," he said to his brothers, "this time I dreamed that the sun and the moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me." Could his dreams mean that one day Joseph would rule over his father and mother and all his brothers? The dreams made the brothers even more jealous toward Joseph. But guess what? One day, Joseph's father and mother and brothers will bow down to him, but not just yet. Here comes the dreamer. Joseph's brothers were out in the fields looking after the goats and the sheep, and they saw Joseph coming. "It's time that we taught him a lesson," said his brother Levi. When Joseph reached the camp, the brothers grabbed him and they threw him into a pit, a deep hole. "What should we do with him?" Judah asked. Just then, some traders came along. They were on their way to Egypt. The brothers, you know what the brothers did? They sold Joseph to the traders for 20 pieces of silver. But first, they tore off Joseph's fancy, colorful coat. The traders took him away in chains to be a slave. So the brothers threw him in a hole, and then some guys from Egypt came and they said, "Hey, do you want our brother? Well, we want to sell him to you." So the guys gave the brothers 20 pieces of silver, and they let them take Joseph away. Look, he's in chains. When the brothers got back home, they told their father that Joseph had been killed by a wild animal. They didn't tell their father the truth. They told their father a lie. They showed him Joseph's coat, which they had put goat's blood on. Jacob wept and tore at his clothes. His sons tried to comfort him, but Jacob would never stop crying for his beloved son, Joseph. So the brothers tricked the dad. They told him that wild animals attacked their brother and ate him. But what really happened? They sold him to the Egyptians. So here we're going to go. Joseph's going to be in Egypt. Joseph was not dead. He was alive in Egypt. The traders had sold him to a rich family. Joseph did very well there because God was always with him. Joseph lived for many years in Egypt. God gave him success in whatever he did. That means whatever he did it well. time, Joseph became a powerful man in Egypt, second to only King Pharaoh. So in Egypt, the king is called a pharaoh. So Joseph is like Pharaoh's best helper. God had given Joseph the gift of seeing into the future by explaining dreams. Pharaoh had 2 dreams that worried him. In one dream, 7 fat ears of grain were swallowed by 7 thin ears of grain. In another, 7 fat cows were eaten by 7 skinny cows. Joseph said that in 7 years, rain would not fall and crops would not grow. There would be a great famine. That means there's not enough food and not enough water. This meant that the people of Egypt had 7 years to get ready for it. 7 years later, the great famine did come. Because of Joseph, Egypt had more food, but people from other lands did not. So one day, there's the famine. The famine means there's not enough food and water for all the people. But Joseph had predicted the dream, so Pharaoh made sure they saved lots of food and water. So people from all over the lands would come to Egypt and ask if they could have food and water. So one day, a family of brothers from the land of Canaan came before Joseph. Hey, a family of brothers. Do you remember a family with lots of brothers? I remember a family with lots of brothers from the land of Canaan. They came before Joseph. They saw a handsome man in fine robes with a golden chain around his neck. Now look at, these are Joseph's brothers that had sold him. They bowed down to him, just like his dreams had said they would. The men were really Joseph's brothers. The dreams he had when he was 17 had come true. When the brothers found out that the great man was their brother Joseph, they were afraid that they would be punished. But Joseph was happy to see them. He said, "Do not be afraid because of what you did to me. It was not you who sent me here. God sent me here." Joseph sent for his father Jacob, and Jacob and all his sons settled in Egypt in the land of Goshen. Their children and their children's children numbered as many as stars in the sky, just like Abraham's. The people called themselves Israelites, after the name God had given Jacob at Bethel. So now they're called Israelites, God's people, and we're going to learn a lot about the Israelites coming up. So there's Joseph. There's his father Jacob. They're reunited with their whole family, and Joseph forgave his brothers for doing that to him. So today we're going to color Joseph here, and we're going to make his coat really colorful. I'm going to show you how. So first we're going to use our markers. And with our markers, we're not going to just color in his coat. We're going to draw like designs on his coat. So I'm going to draw some lines over here on his sleeves. And I'm going to use a different color. And I'm going to draw another line on his sleeves. And then I'm going to keep drawing lines like that. All the way down. Just lines for right now. I'm going to show you some cool things we can do with our markers. Then, so I draw my lines, right, on both sides of his coat. Then I'm going to take my markers and I'm going to draw just some designs in the lines. I'm not coloring in yet. I'm just drawing some designs, maybe some zigzags, maybe some swirls, maybe some dots. We'll put some dots down here. Because it was said that Jacob gave his son Joseph a very colorful, beautiful coat. So we want to make sure that we are making it very colorful and very beautiful. Just drawing little designs. No coloring in yet. Maybe some more swirls. Ooh, I like that. So then what I'm gonna do, got all my designs filled in, right? Got some designs on my coat. Then I'm gonna take my crayons and then I'm gonna color in each little section of my coat a different color. Ooh, it's gonna be so colorful when I'm finished. With my crayons, right? We're gonna use our crayons to color in the sections. I don't have any yellow in there. Ooh, look at this. This is the most colorful coat I've ever seen. I would love to have a coat this colorful. So there we go. We've colored Joseph's coat. Then you can pick some colors and you can make the inside. So he's got, looks like some tie, a tie or a belt around. And then he's got some other kind of thing he's wearing underneath. You can decide whatever colors you want for those. I think in the story he had brown hair. I'm gonna use my crayon for his hair and his beard. There we go. What else? I'm going to use my brown marker a little bit by coloring his sandals. His sandals. You can make his sandals whatever color you want though. And the palm tree trunk. I'm going to color my palm trees green. There's palm trees because these stories are happening in the desert. In Egypt and Canaan, those are desert cities. So it's very hot and sandy. Not a lot of plants, but some palm trees. Sand, I'm going to show the sand as yellow. Behind here, I'm going to make the sand hills yellow. Uh-oh, there's some announcements
Good
coming
morning,
on.
teachers. Don't forget there's lunch in the lunchroom. Thank you for the parent-teacher conferences today.
Ooh, and our son. Sorry about that. That was Mrs. Kaiser coming on the intercom telling me it's almost lunchtime. And then we've got his skin, his ears, his face, his neck, his hand, his feet, his ankles, and then I'm just gonna go along my sand with my crayon. It's hot in the desert. hot in the desert. There we go, and there you have your friend Joseph.